Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Tits Up and Wings Out, where spiritual entrepreneurs lead from the heart, embody their divine essence, and get paid damn well for it. Today, we are welcoming Venus Castleberg, and I am so excited to bring the title today. We're going to be talking about surrendering to the whispers. And firstly, okay, Venus, please tell us, who are you? What do you do?
Well, in the simplest terms, I'm Venus Castleberg, and I'm also known as the Home Whisperer. My primary target that I work with is real estate agents, and I help real estate agents clear stuck energies from homes that can't sell so that they can sell with greater ease. And then that, of course, falls into like there's businesses that get stuck energy and, all the things.
This is so cool. I'm so excited to talk about this because I have experience with both of these, business and real estate and living in a haunted house and all the things. So I'm super curious, how did you get started with all this?
That's a great question. So when I turned 30, I spontaneously became a clairvoyant medium. I was not happy with that new gift. I didn't want it. Like, take it back, universe, give it to
Yeah.
somebody else. I'm not going to do anything with this. My
Yeah.
name is Venus. I was born with Venus, so I've always been a little bit unique and different, and kids teased me. So being even weirder was not in the cards. So
Mm,
so I resisted it for 3 years.
yeah.
And then I started to get depressed, and I just kind of instinctively knew that, I'm getting depressed because I'm resisting this new gift that I have. So I did a self-imposed spirit quest, vision quest
Mm,
in Sedona, and
yeah.
and was lucky enough to have a family friend that kind of knew a bunch of weird people doing weird
Love
things.
it.
And
Love
he
it.
took me around and like introduced me to all these weird people doing weird things. And I was like, well, there's even weirder stuff out there. So I surrender, universe. Don't give me anything
Hmm.
else. I'm good.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
and and then almost immediately, I started to realize that I could perceive and see energies in spaces that didn't belong there. And I would just be like, oh, that dark energy in the corner doesn't seem to belong there. And then I would just clear it. Or I would drive by old battlefields where there were still militia and Indians fighting. And I'd like be like, hey guys, the war's over. You don't have bodies anymore. You can move on. So it was pretty early on that it started to like, oh, I can actually do that with these gifts and capacities that I've been given. So it's kind of how this got
Hmm.
started. Yeah.
That is so cool. Okay. All right. So many questions. Holy shit. Okay. So, I love that you're talking about, you had this depression because you were resisting basically the essence of who you are, which I'm sure didn't feel like it at the time because you weren't aware of it until you were 30, knowing that it was already there, but the switch just kind of flipped on for you, which does happen.
Yeah.
And once you surrendered and went on this vision quest, how was your depression? Like, what was the meter on that? Like, was it instantaneously lifted? Did it take a while to clear up, or how did that
Mm.
pan out for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, actually, it was pretty instant. The other reason why I was getting depressed was because my mom and I had been close growing up my whole life, and then I couldn't tell her that I had suddenly become a medium. So I
Mm.
wasn't talking to my mom for 3 years either, like that. And she's like, I don't understand what happened. You're not really talking to me anymore, and I don't know what I thought. And so on my way home from Sedona, I literally picked up the phone and called my mom and I said, are you sitting down? And she's like, yeah. And then I told her what had been going on. And she says, well, some of it surprises me and some of it doesn't. But did you think I wouldn't love you anyway? And I was like, I guess I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, so it's almost like you put yourself in this prison.
Yeah.
um, not only rejecting who you truly are, but also assuming that those that loved you would do the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and there just
Shit.
would be this acceptance, you know. So
Right,
yeah.
right. And that makes sense because you didn't have acceptance around it, so why would anyone else accept you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah. Through the lens that we perceive all things, that's how it goes down, people. From the outside and afterwards it seems kind of ridiculous, but of course that's the way it happened because that was your experience. That's how you viewed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I know we talked a little bit about I haven't shared this story yet with you, Venus, so we can unpack this a little bit because I would love to hear your take on it too. But I actually the precipice of me gaining my gifts was actually an experience living in a haunted house with two little ones. And let's see, we my kids were 4 and 2. Oh no, they were way younger. 3 and a half, an infant, I think. And what was happening was, firstly, I was very, very ill. My health was crazy ill. People couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I went to all the specialists, all the things. One of our cats was laid down in our bedroom closet one day and wouldn't get up, and she would not eat. She would not drink. She was losing weight. We took her to the vets. We did all the tests, all the things. Quote unquote, nothing was wrong with her. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And my children, my daughter was an infant at the time, and I would pick her up and walk around the room, and she'd stay fixated on one spot in the room, seeing something that I could not perceive, and sometimes pointing.
Mhm.
And I was like, what the hell is going on? My son, it was like every 3 hours would be screaming, throwing tissues at stuff. At some point, he started stuttering and pissing himself. He was terrified. And
Mm.
it was just like, as a parent of little ones, and I felt so helpless. There was like
Mm.
no fucking way I could help my kids. Clearly, my son was being tortured and tormented in some way that I had no clue. I couldn't see what was happening with him. I couldn't imagine. Kind of was like imagining, like obviously it's something was happening because he was also screaming and staring at something that I could not perceive.
Right.
And so at some point, and I'm just like, I'm praying for help. I don't know what to do. I wasn't even really that religious, but it was one of those moments where you're like, well, now's the fucking time to pray because I don't know what else to do. Yeah. And I was selling, it was Herbalife. I was selling, herbal supplements and stuff. And I get
I
this
used to
phone
sell
call.
Herbalife.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
see? And that's so funny. That doesn't surprise me. I lived in New Jersey at the time, and I get this phone call from a woman asking me about a weight loss product. And I was talking to her, and I said, "How did you hear about me?" And she said, "Well, I found your flyer in the Delaware Mall." And I was like, "I've never been to the Delaware Mall. I don't even know where that is." And she was like, "Well, I got the flyer right here in my hand, and I called you, didn't I?" I was like, "Yeah." So I was like super confused how the hell this happened. I was like, of course we're like, well, maybe my friend, was trying to help me out and like, I don't know, whatever. So we were talking about something, and then mid-sentence she says, "And your son has very beautiful blue eyes, and I see he's tormented and he's crying a lot, and it's because you have visitors in your house." And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is happening right now? And I just burst into tears because I was trying to be all profesh. The house was
Right.
falling apart in every fucking corner. And,
Right.
my cat's dying. We had a 4 foot aloe plant, which was ginormous, 4 foot wide. And it was part of the family. Like if the kids bumped into it and like knocked a little piece off, the kids would be like, "Sorry, aloe plant." And they would like, it was a friend. And it was almost completely dead, like shriveling up into nothing.
Mm.
So this woman brought another woman over and she's like, "Well, I'm studying to do some kind of healing work." I didn't really understand it at the time. I was like, "If you can clear this shit up, do it. What do you need? How much money do you want?" Like, I don't, and at that point, I started calling like Sylvia Brown. I don't know, that's kind of an old school psychic, trying to
Yeah,
figure
for
out
sure.
like, I didn't really have a concept of like other people doing it. Sylvia Brown, like the famous people were the only ones that were like really in my scope, and that was even sort of far out. And that was like, even just to have a conversation with her was like a 3 to 4 month wait list or something. I was like, I can't do this for another 4 months, no fucking way.
Right.
Um, so these two ladies come over, I make a meal for them, and they do this thing, and and they start clearing the house. You know, of course, it's all like voodoo, whatever. I didn't give a shit what it was. It was all new to me. I say voodoo because it was new to me and I didn't have the verbiage for it. Um, and they get up to the second floor where the cat was still laying, and they said, "Oh, there's a portal here." And they're like, "We're going to put the spirits back in and we're going to close the portal." If you're not familiar, a portal is a door to the spirit world. Okay. And they put the spirits back in, they closed the door. And the second, I'm telling you, the second that happened, it felt like the difference between when you're standing outside in the summer. It always been hotter on the second floor, and I always just thought it was like heat rising. But
Right.
the second she did it, there was like this cool breeze. It was just like instantaneously cooler up there. And our little tiny skinny as shit cat stood up and walked away and never laid back down there again. And the ladies told me, they were like, "Oh, well, the cat was absorbing the energy to protect the family. She was trying to
Yeah.
protect you guys." And I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God." And,
Mhm.
throughout this whole time, I was, like I'd get the kids to bed at nap time, and I'd lay down in bed totally fucking exhausted as a stay-at-home mom, and I'd hear little footsteps in the carpet. And I'd sit up and it would stop, and I'd be like, "Damn, they're fast." And I'd stand up and I'd like sneak into their rooms, and I would look like they're both asleep. I'm like, I don't know. I think they're faking it. And this happened constantly before, the house was cleared.
Right.
And I found out later those are called disembodied footsteps. And there were a few negative visitors, we'll call them.
Yeah.
And they were negatively affecting the health of my cat. I found out later aloe plants absorb negative energy, and the whole dang thing like shriveled up to nothing. And so that's when I was like, holy shit, there's more to this life than what my physical eyes can see. And that's when I started. That's when that was back in the day with CDs. So I was like CDs with the Walkman doing my meditations and learning and, all that stuff. So that was my lesson. That's how things began. And I used to say that when I was younger, like back then, it was like my lessons were like frying pan over the head. It was like, if you don't fucking get it by now, chick, it's not going to happen. Like everything was falling apart. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I
yeah,
love
that
that.
was my experience. That's how I started my opening my gifts. I was like, shit.
There is something going on here. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So what's your take on any of that? I'm going to take a little sip of
Yeah,
water here.
that's common. Portals are common. I actually just did a home in Washington that had a land portal.
Uh-huh.
So the land wasn't happy. The land actually didn't agree to be built on. So
Hmm.
I had to make amends to the land, and then we could close the portal. And the people who own the house, they were like, I felt like my house was a bus stop. Like there was like just felt like there was other energy in here all the time. It was always busy. And I was like, it's because it was. It was literally like an
Yeah.
in-between spot. So
Yes. Yes. That is
but I
so
love that,
crazy.
the universe used that to kind of wake you up and be like, there's more to life than just what we can see. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Everything changed after that experience. And I was so grateful to those women who I never saw or spoke to again, but they changed the trajectory of our lives. They saved us. And actually, I think at some point, actually, it was about almost exactly a year later, that shit started up again. And I was like, oh no, like, but then I knew exactly what it was, and I had been doing stuff. And again, the universe just led me to this woman who came to the house. So yeah, yeah. So obviously group A wasn't as proficient as needed, but they gave us some relief, much needed relief. And then the next woman was even more profoundly gifted and shifted. Yeah, she was amazing too. So it was a wonderful experience for me. It sucked. We all
Mhm.
fucking hated it, and it was like seemed like there was no end. But I don't know how else, if I look back on it, like how else could I have really gotten the gravity of there is so much more to this experience. And now, of
Mhm.
course, I've experienced many wonderful things on that side as well. It's not torturous, by any stretch of the means. But it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful for people like yourself who can come in and make such a big difference. And I've had experiences too with I also work with people with energy and businesses and stuff, and it's just like people don't realize, I mean, when you say everything is energy, that's no fucking joke. Like everything is energy. There's
Mhm.
everything can be cleared and healed, including your business.
Right. Yeah. Everything
Yes.
can be. And I'll say this too, because obviously you didn't know it when it was first happening, but no one and nothing is more powerful than you. So it's only more powerful than you when you believe it's more powerful than you. And in your
Right.
instance, you didn't know what it was. So obviously, there couldn't be like this, like, no, this is not happening. But you really get to say, like, if something's not working, you can just be like, this doesn't work, and it changes. And yeah.
Love that. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you for saying that. And I was recently having a conversation with a client too around clearing her house. And she had a lot of fear around it. She was very psychic and very gifted. And there was a lot of fear around, what could happen or, all the things. And
Right.
I said the same thing to her, like,
Yeah.
you know, your fear is just in your mind. You can't be hurt, and, you get to make the rules.
Yep.
And I think that's sort of like a Hollywood. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I feel like, people's preconceived notions tend to slide towards Hollywood movies, like getting possessed and
Right.
all that shit. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so not.
Or even paranormal investigators. Yeah. Like they're
Oh yeah.
constantly
Oh
like looking for the thing that freaks you out. And it's like, cool. I mean, it's there. Obviously, there is stuff that's weird and would, freak you out. But again, like you said, you can't be harmed. So,
yeah.
you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
they're
Yeah, for
just
sure.
making noise. They're just like they're banging stuff around
They're
because
making noise, they're
that,
moving shit. Yeah. And the
right.
reason
Yeah.
my cat was being harmed is because it was her intention to absorb the energy. It wasn't because there was a force over her. I just wanted to
Right.
clarify that too.
Yeah.
She intended, like, I am blocking this from my family, and I am absorbing that. And as soon as it cleared up, she got up, she walked away, she was eating like crazy. She sprung right back. No problem. Yeah.
Yay, that's awesome. I love that.
Yay! Same.
Our
Well, the yellow
animals,
plant,
yeah,
yeah, the yellow
crazy.
plant didn't survive, but the yellow plant also had its own intentions, and its spirit wanted to absorb this stuff. So,
Yeah.
I reconciled with that. I wasn't happy about it, but I was,
Thank you, Aloe.
it's our
Appreciate
friend. Yeah, I
it.
did. I
Yeah.
had a little ceremony for it. I felt so bad. Um, yeah, so can you tell us, because I know you're talking about you clear, is there a difference between clearing physical space versus, let's say, someone who has an online business? Is there any difference?
Yeah, sure. So physical space, obviously you're gonna have more physical things going on. Online businesses are interesting, like whether they're brick and mortar or an online business, they're interesting in that they have a lot of different facets. So you have, with businesses, you have, maybe you have staff, you have, money, you have clients, you have like, and so all of these things are part of the whole business entity, is what I call it. Whereas a
Yeah.
space or a home is usually just the home. Maybe there's some energy in it that's stuck or not moving, but it doesn't have as many facets as a business. So businesses take a little bit. I don't know that they necessarily take a little bit more time, but they just take a little bit more focus on all of the different facets to the business.
Mhm. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. And I just wanted to like touch base too with I know there are spiritual entrepreneurs who are watching this right now and maybe resisting something that they feel like they know they want to do or feel called to do, but perhaps they feel like it's too different, it's too weird, they're never going to make money. What do you have to say to someone who might be in that situation?
That's another great question. Yeah, so as somebody who has resisted, I will tell you that being willing to lean into the whispers, lean into whatever you're being guided to, always tends to work out far greater than I even imagined. It's actually the resistance to the things that keeps it slow. It's like you're kind of in this like sluggish sort of energy. When you surrender is a great word, to the whispers, to whatever you're feeling guided to, the universe can then steer you to where the magic is, to the miracles. You open the flow and you allow yourself to be more in tune with like what the universe has for you. And it's far greater than anything that you could have imagined before. So,
Oh my gosh, I agree. And the visualization I'm getting right now is just sort of like floating in the canoe and allowing the current to take us where we want to go versus trying to pedal against the current because that's where everybody else tells you you got to go or that's where you think you got to go. And
right. Yeah.
it's that surrender and flow is really also letting go of the fear too, because there's always fear. If we're not surrendering, there's some kind of fear that we need to address or
Mhm.
release or whatever. And I agree. That's where the beauty and the magic and the miracles resides in the flow, in the flow. And as someone who's been doing that, I've been in this business 27 years. My business changes all the fucking time, all
Oh.
the time. And it's like as you evolve, then it's like, okay, level up. Okay, gifts over here. Okay, there's different people you can help. And just being open to like, okay, cool. I got to change my website a little bit, but yeah, I can do that. So
Yeah.
and amazing, I agree. Amazing stuff happens. You're just like, what? What? I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Venus, thank you so much for guiding us through surrendering to the whispers because I think this is such good medicine for so many people. Do you have any closing advice or anything you want to leave the audience with?
I think that that word, it just keeps coming back, is just that surrender and trust. Surrender and trust that the universe is actually conspiring for you, never against you, even when stuff sucks. Even when the whispers are like guiding you to something you maybe don't want to do. Or you don't want somebody to think that you're crazy because you're now doing something spiritual or doing readings. It's like trust the universe has your back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's so amazing. And it's so interesting too, once you start owning your divine essence and stepping into your true power and your gifts, it's like you plant little seeds for other people who are around you that you never even knew were interested in XYZ, but now that you're like, yeah, I do this, they're like, oh no shit, I've been really interested in that. Tell me about it. And you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
it's you give permission for other people to exist outside of the box as well once you are standing outside the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I
Totally.
love that.
Uh,
Okay, Venus, you have a gift for the audience. Tell us about that, please.
I do, yeah. So there's actually, I created 50 ways to clear a business, and 49 of them you can do all by yourself. And if
Oh my
you
gosh.
if you need help, and the 50 is me. So
Ah,
so if you need help after the 49, and then you probably want to give me a call. And then if
there
anybody does
is
have a
definitely time to call.
Stockholm, huh?
Yeah. I was just going to say there is time to just call the professionals at some point.
Yes. Yeah. And I do offer a free consultation to any real estate agent or homeowner, business owner. It's a absolutely free call. We just talk about what's going on and see if maybe I can help or maybe I can't, and I can refer you to something else too. So
Beautiful. And you guys, all that information is going to be in the show notes, either below or on the side, wherever you're consuming this podcast. Venus, thank you so much for being here today. We so appreciate your wisdom here at Tits Up and Wings Out.
thank you, beautiful. Have a wonderful day.